Hello, I'm Tony Pearson-Young and welcome to the final Dulux Academy Podcast of 2020. Well, what a year it's been. There have been some highs and some very obvious lows, and many moments none of us will ever forget. We wanted to end the year on a bit of a celebration, to reflect on all the good things that have happened and remember what we've learnt and cherished along the way, and to look ahead to see what we're excited for in 2021. I'm joined today by Dulux Academy and Dulux Select Decorators lead, Vickie Mather, as well as Dulux Select Decorators, Martin Cole and Rose Morris. It's certainly been a busy year. First, I want to look back at some of the positives we've experienced. So Vickie, what's been the highlight of your year?
Well, thanks, Tony. It's great to be here, actually, and having podcasts probably is one of the highlights of the year. I think from both an academy and a Dulux Select perspective, it's been one of those years where we've had to think differently and we've had to use technology in ways of how do we talk to our customers in a completely different way. So podcasts and using the Dulux Academy Live would be two of the things that we would have never been able to do or deliver in the way we've done if it wasn't for 2020.
I know, very exciting and a big change for us.
Most
Me
definitely.
more than most.
Well, absolutely. Face for radio, like many say.
Yes, thanks for that. Martin, what's been your highlight?
Well, mine's not decorator related, but it's been a very weird year this year. It's been very difficult for a lot of people. So you kind of think to yourself, is there a highlight? But I think there is a highlight for me. It's getting to know all my neighbours and people I never would have spoke to in the past, never even would have batted an eyelid at. And I would have thought that was my highlight because on VE Day, for example, we all got out, we all had a drink with each other, socially distanced, had a chat. So I would say that has been my highlight of getting to know my neighbourhood and getting to know my neighbours. And now some of them become my friends, which is lovely, actually.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, that is one of the big positives out of all this, isn't it, really, that we're starting to talk to each other again. And Rose, how about yourself? What's been your highlight?
Well, I would go along with Martin, really, in as much as COVID-19 may have sounded like it wasn't a highlight, but my word, it's a highlight because it's eaten into the whole year. So it's been a whole year of highlight of COVID-19, the ever-changing life that it's given us. And as Martin said, the VE thing was a great occasion to share that with our neighbours and in the street and what have you. So. Yeah.
So what have you learned from this year then with COVID? What the different things that have happened? What have you learned the most?
Actually learning about COVID and how to cope with it, and having to learn about how to manage my customers' expectations, how to manage safety, how to manage learning, ordering, delivering, all those kind of things. It's been a huge learning. It's a learning change.
Yeah.
So adapting, I think.
Yeah, we've all had to adapt. And Martin, for yourself?
I'd have to agree, really. I mean, it's been very strange for my customers, especially after the first lockdown, when you start getting back into the swing of things, have to socially distance, have to, keep clean all the door handles and keep washing your hands all the time, wear a mask when you need to, when necessary. So it was mainly educating my customers mainly because they're in their safe place. Their home's their safe place. So they're a bit more relaxed than I would be. So it's trying to re-educate my customers, trying to tell him that for now, don't make me a cup of tea. I've brought my own flask, all that sort of stuff. It is very difficult for some because one of my customers was like, this is not a leper's house, Martin. I was like, yeah, I know, but, I've got to, look after you and myself and all that. So, yeah, it's re-educating customers. But in going forward, though, I think I will, once all this COVID stuff is over, I think I will start cleaning hands more and cleaning handles and just, obviously I would love to have a cup of tea and a bacon sandwich with my customer in the future, that's for sure. But in terms of that, I think I would carry on doing that, to be fair.
So with all this change and having to adapt, what have you been most thankful for, Rose?
Strangely, every day I wake up, I'm thankful. I know that sounds trite and, fake, but actually it's not. And I'm really thankful to be waking up every day and feeling well and healthy and knowing that my family and people I care for are all well and healthy. So that's kind of what I'm thankful for.
Definitely. I think we can all feel a little bit like that in these trying times, can't we? Martin, what are you thankful for?
Very thankful that all my family and friends are well through this time. I'm very thankful that no one's been seriously ill or anything like that in my circles of friends and family. Obviously, it's been very difficult for some people, and I hope everything will be absolutely fine with them. But I'm also very thankful to my customers as well for, taking me on still, being very sympathetic towards my business and having to change the way I work in terms of the COVID situation. So I'm very thankful to them, and also to keep hiring me and paying my bills. So that's what I'm very thankful for, that's carried on.
And Vickie, what are you most thankful for?
Well, very much like the others have said, obviously health is a huge piece this year, and thankful for my own health and my friends and my family. But one of the things I have been really thankful for is the gift of time. Normally I'd have an hour commute each way, and working at home means all of a sudden I've got a lot more time on my hands, and all of those excuses for ages of I didn't have time to do things, I now have time. Doesn't mean I've actually done all of those things, but I do have time to do them.
So have you attacked the ironing pile?
Well, who needs to iron now? You're working at home.
No one can see, can they?
Absolutely.
Cool. So now Christmas is only just around the corner, so we're all looking forward to a good break. So Martin, what are your plans for the Christmas break?
It is going to be food, wine, beer, chilling out, eating far too much, and also going to be shutting down my whole business. Going to have an email sending out to customers saying I'm busy for I'm chilling out for 2 weeks. Come back to me in the first week of January.
Is that the normal thing that you would do anyway?
Yes, it would be. Yes, I always sort of like want to switch off from work during the Christmas. I always take 2 weeks off every year for Christmas. Reason being is no one really wants you round during Christmas. Some people do work Christmas, but I always like to make a point of taking 2 weeks off for Christmas and New Year, and then I'll be back in January. But I also do shut down my business in terms of, unless it's really urgent, but I tried to switch off from work during the Christmas period.
Yeah, that's good, because then you can actually recharge, can't you, and spend some quality time with the family.
That is so important. And when I hear Martin saying that, the importance about his mental health and how that having the recharge will enable him to start the year fresh and without the being worn out before he starts. So I would reiterate that and say, yes, the rest is important, and the self-care is always important on a daily basis. But yeah.
And Vickie?
Yeah, it's an interesting one this year. We would normally spend with family, but due to social bubbles and some shielding and a new nephew, it's not actually possible this year. So I think it's going to be quite a quiet Christmas. Doesn't mean it won't be fun, though. I think technology will play a place. I think I'm already hearing Zoom games and all sorts of pieces. I think we'll notice that with the team. We can't all get together, which we would have normally had some fun as a team. So that will be something that's virtual as well. So I think there's that virtual celebration, obviously with a glass of something. I'm sure there'll be lots of good food and drink. But yeah, I agree with what the others have said about just switching off as well. And there's a lot of Netflix I've not through yet. So there's tons of things to watch on the sofa and thoroughly enjoy myself.
Yeah, and then there's Amazon Prime.
Oh, yes, of course.
iPlayer.
Others are available.
Yeah. So now on to some serious stuff. Martin, have you been naughty or nice this year?
Well, I asked my wife this, and she says I've been nice this year. But she's probably the expert on that one. But I think I've been very nice this year. I've been doing my best. I've redecorated most of the house when we were in lockdown, so I think I've been extremely nice this year.
Oh, I'm sure that got you some brownie points then.
Absolutely, that was I'm on the nice list, I think.
And Rose, I think I can already guess, but are you on the naughty or the nice list?
I'm always nice.
I thought you were.
What can I say? I'm always nice, but I was naughty a couple of times this year. The thing I wanted to do was to shave my head, so I did, and I did it during lockdown, so none of my usual people I saw knew I'd had it done. And I wore a hat for a lot of the summer because I had a very cold head. And I also painted my front door red, white and blue to celebrate VE Day, which was a bit naughty. It's not my front door, it's a rental. But because I'm a decorator, I can paint it back again.
So what was the shaving the head all about? Is this just something on your bucket list, or is it for charity?
Yeah, it was on my bucket list. probably should have done it for charity. I did record it, and it's not something I couldn't do at a sort of later date. But I got my grandson to do it because I thought I'm going to create a memory on VE Day for my grandson, and he's going to shave my hair. So he did, and it was great fun.
Oh, that's brilliant. Superb. And Vickie?
I don't know. I was thinking. I think I'd have to go nice as well. I'd love to say naughty, but I haven't really had the opportunity. So yeah, I think 2020 is the year of people being nice. So I think most of us will be on Santa's nice list.
I think
this year.
so. Speaking of Santa, what have you put on your Santa's wish list?
Oh, well, we don't actually do presents as a family.
What?
So I know it's a little controversial, isn't it? I think as we've all got older, we've just decided that shopping in December for other people isn't a thing. So actually we buy for ourselves. So there isn't anything massively on my list this year. I've done a few things around the home. But yeah, we don't have presents. So other than Team Secret Santas, my shopping's all done.
Oh, wow. Oh, that wasn't the answer I was expecting. And Rose, what's on your wish list? What do you want for Christmas?
For Christmas, I wouldn't mind a nice gin, some laughter, a bit of dancing, a bit of fun. That's fine for me.
Yeah, that works every time, doesn't it?
Mm.
Martin, anything for you? I know you like a gadget or two, so what's on the wish list?
Anything to do with PlayStation 5 related, that'd be great. I do like a gadget, though, as you know. I got my sprayer this year, so I already had an early Christmas present for that as well.
Nice.
But no, I'm quite content with what I've got. It's been one of those years where I just buy it for the sake of buying it. But we're not really gift related, similar to Vickie. Really, we try and tend to just buy for the kids, really, and that's about it.
So it's a traditional time at Christmas. So what are the family traditions for you, Martin? Do you have board games, or do we sit and watch Christmas films?
Okay, so it is board games usually. Don't know what's happening this year at the moment. We have to pay it by the last minute to see what sort of tiers we're in. But yeah, usually board games, Monopoly, having arguments over that, who's cheating and all that sort of stuff.
Standard.
One of my major traditions I do every year since I got a dog, though, and that was about 4 years ago. I like to get up at 5:30 in the morning and walk my dog on Christmas morning, and I feel like I'm the only person on the planet. There's no cars about, there's no one about, and it is so peaceful. That's usually one of my favourite Christmas traditions, is just go out and just take it all in. It's lovely.
Nice. A little bit of me time, isn't it? It seems so peaceful at that time in the morning when no one's around.
That's right, yeah.
And Rose, what are we going to do that's traditional in your home?
Well, we're a bit meaner than that. We make the family, whoever's about, and a few friends. We drag them out for a run. They have to meet round at my son's house, and then we go for a run around the village, which is about 1.5 miles, dressed up in Christmas clothes. Sometimes there's a pony involved, or dogs, bicycles, kids, all sorts of mishmash. We run around the village. And then we all come back to Ollie's house. And as some of you know, he's a very creative mixologist. And so he usually mixes us up a little Christmas festival drink. And we have that. And then that starts our day.
That's brilliant. Love the idea of that. And Vickie, do you go around for a jog around the block before Christmas dinner?
No, quite the opposite, actually. It's almost ironic that my answer was going to be it's all about food. So for me, my traditions would be family-centric of the Christmas ham. And I don't know why I can't eat ham any other time of the year, because they do sell it. But I absolutely wait Christmas Eve, and that's when we'll cook the Christmas ham. But we don't eat it on Christmas Day. We save it for Boxing Day for jacket potatoes and Christmas ham. So that smell of the Christmas ham cooking means for me that actually Christmas is about to happen. So definitely food-related Christmas memories.
Brilliant. And do you have any tips for getting through the festivities?
Well, gin. I don't know. I think just taking it day by day and in a stride, and I think more for this year than anything else. You know, we've already started all the conversations about who's doing what and which member of the family you can see or can't see, and friends. And I just think this year is just don't make plans, go with the flow, see what the weather does. If it's a nice crisp morning, go for a walk. If it's cold and horrible, watch a film. I just think there's loads of options. Just don't make plans this year.
And Rose, yourself?
Well, for me, it's something around how my actions and behaviours affect and impact other people. I know that's kind of a strange thing to think about at the time of the festivities, but it is something, and it's something that stays with me most of the time. But the thing I really want is a luxury bag of fruit and nut mix, and that will get me through any situation at any time, whether I'm out on my bike, nice handful of nuts for energy, or whether I'm sitting on the sofa watching a movie. Perfect.
I think I prefer the fruit and nuts that's wrapped in chocolate myself. But Martin, any tips from you?
Drinking, eating, loads of chocolate, and bringing your headphones around your in-laws when they're getting a bit annoying, and just stick your iPad on, watch a Christmas movie.
Yeah. And sorry, I should have said making chocolate orange a completely suitable breakfast food is the best things about Christmas.
It's the one day of the year where we can eat copious amounts of chocolate for breakfast and not feel guilty for it. Whatever happened to those selection boxes when we were kids, when you used to get about a dozen chocolate bars and you'd eat most of them before your parents woke up?
I think you can still get them.
And finally then, New Year's resolutions. Rose, do you have any for next year, if any at all, or are we just going to see what happens?
New Year's resolution. Not really, just see what happens. Stay in the moment, live the day, see what's out there.
I think that's a fair plan, to be honest. Martin, any resolutions for you and the Cole household?
Most people would say lose weight. I'm going to say lose weight, and then I would say a COVID vaccine as soon as possible. Thank you very much. I'll have that as well, please, for my New Year's resolution. And I would say because of all this stuff been going on this year, it's made me reflect and realise that family and friends are really important. So I'm going to try and spend more time not working on weekends, and actually spend more time with my family and friends, and just be able to go out with them more and live life a bit more and not think about work too much.
Yeah, it's very easy, isn't it, being self-employed, to put work first and be work-centric and focused on the next client, when's the next job coming in, and sometimes our family takes second place, wrongly, but to kind of refocus and put it the family in first place again, I think that's a great resolution. And Vickie, any for yourself?
Yeah, for me, I think very similar to Rose, that live in the moment thing. And I think there's a reflection that you can take things for granted. You can take a night out with friends for granted, and actually next year should be all around do what you can when you can. And I have missed seeing, I've got 2 young nephews and I've hardly seen them this year. So I think next year will be all about spending quality time with them, and I'd love a holiday as well. So a little bit of sun next year would be great as well.
Yes, please. Yeah. And so on to our regular feature, Tools of the Trade, where I ask our guests the one tool, physical or not, that they couldn't do without. But with the festive season just around the corner, I'm going to do it a little bit differently this time. I'm going to ask for 2 tools. I want one for the day job, but I also want another little tool or thought that helps you get through the festive period. So Martin, what are your 2 tools of the trade?
My tool of the trade, decorating wise, is my offler blade, the one with it's the cutter with auto lock. It's 18mm one, and it's the one with the metal piece at the end where it opens tins and things like that. I lost it a couple of weeks ago, and I was lost because I use it for digging out cracks. I use it to cut my joining tape. I use it to open my tins of paint. I was absolutely lost without it. So if there's a stocking filler, it'd be that in my stocking, that's for sure. For my Christmas tool, I'm a big kid. I love an advent calendar. I love eating chocolate every day.
Love that. And Rose, what are your 2 tools?
Well, I think I want what Martin's got, not the chocolate, the offler tool. That sounds fabulous. My most useful tool, I suppose, is my dust brush, because I can't mention the other thing. So
And for everyone out there, that's for dust-free sanding, because when we always ask what's your favourite tool, it's always the dust-free sanding. So we kind of barred from people with answering that. So normally we don't allow people to say dust-free sanding. So Rose has taken a sidestep here and said a dust brush. So sorry, I interrupted you there just to explain. So why a dust brush?
A dust brush, because you can't do anything without a dust brush. You can't start a job, you can't finish a job, you can't put a layer of paint on without it. It's just vital. It's vital for so many things. So it's an integral part of my kit, and people that work with me are often trying to steal my dust brush, and it's absolutely hands off, get your own.
And for Christmas, is it a mince pie or a Santa hat? What's your one little festive piece that you need?
Oh, well, I think it goes back to that, giving myself time and space, getting outside and just being aware of everything that's going on around me outside. The sound of the trees blowing, the wind blowing through the trees, the birds singing. When you hear a little bird, a robin, or if you see a little robin, it just captures the Christmas moment.
Yeah, lovely. And Vickie, what are your two tools?
Yeah, well, not being a decorator myself, I'd have to go my laptop. It does sound a bit cliche, but actually what the laptop has proved this year to me is I can work absolutely anywhere. So actually, maybe if I can travel next year, I could probably still do my job from abroad. But that ability to be able to still do what you need to do, but in a remote location, and feel connected to people, whether that email or Zooms or Microsoft Teams as we're using as well. So that piece. And then my Christmas, I'd go for a bottle opener if most went screw tops nowadays. So assuming we've got screw tops, I think the best way this year, particularly to get through Christmas, is a bit of a smile and a positive attitude. And I think Rose mentioned earlier that the way you behave will reflect on other people as well, and not everyone's going to have a great time over this festive period. So I think if I can bring any of that energy into other people, then that would be great as well.
Oh, brilliant! What's been one of the standout moments for you this year?
I just think there's been an absolute hero of 2020 of Captain Tom. And I just think the whole nation was behind him on his walk around the garden, and you just couldn't not be impressed with the efforts that he went to. And I think it just, for me, showed that just one person's small effort can actually really, really have a factor. And so many other people have gone on and done similar antics, and children that have been able to do it. But I just think if you had to have an iconic figure for 2020, it would be Captain Tom for me.
Yeah, absolutely captured a moment, didn't he? It's
Hugely.
amazing how one person just absolutely captured the whole country, and everyone focused on that and just admired him for it.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore that man, and I think what everyone was connected with him for was that he's been through so much in his whole life. He's been through World War I, World War II. He's had extremely difficult hardship, but he's just so positive with life, and not only that, I think everyone thinks of him as your granddad or great granddad. You look at him and you think, wow, what you just embody everything that's great about Britain, and that's what I loved about that as part of my highlight of this year as well. So I agree with Vickie on that front. Also with my other highlight that I quite enjoyed as well was that I think actually was able to get away early this year before this COVID stuff happened. I went and had a nice spa break with my wife, and so that is one of my other highlights that was really nice. So I had a kind of a holiday for 4 days, but it was really nice. But that's the last time I went for a swim, and I love a good swim, mate. So I'm a really bit gutted that I haven't been able to swim since. But
You'll have to take up wild swimming, Martin.
Oh, sod that. There's too many things and creepy crawlies. I'm like, ooh.
It's a bit cold this time of year as well.
Yeah, we kind of forget about things pre-COVID and pre-lockdown, because I've just remembered that I actually went away for a week. I went over to New York in February for a surprise birthday present, because I hit the big 50 this year, but that was pre-lockdown. I kind of forgotten what an amazing thing that was. So we do have other memories outside of COVID for this year. So, and Rose, any other highlights for yourself?
Oh, my highlights this year have certainly got to be the Dulux Decorator Fellows Dinner, which was held in Chester in February. Well, early March. It was a fantastic weekend away, and so valuable knowing what we know now, having not been away at all this year. So it's a huge treat.
Yeah, it was a great event, wasn't it? And murder mystery was the theme this year. So a bit of acting, some dodgy dancing, where we saw it all, and maybe,
Yeah, it was great fun. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Vickie, Martin and Rose. I think my key takeaways from today is we all remember the good things that have happened this year. I think this year, as we all know, has been a strange one. It's been very different, and it's very easy to dwell on the not nice things. But if we take a little moment to think, there has been lots of positives. There's been a life before COVID as well, but there's been very good in the world. And as Martin said, the one takeaway that I really took from him is that we are starting to talk to our neighbours again. We're starting little communities and be a bit more friendly to each other. So hopefully that will carry on into 2021 and we'll have a good outlook on the year ahead. That's all for this week. I'll be back in the new year to talk about the Dulux Colour of the Year 2021, which is aptly named Brave Ground. So it just leaves me to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all. Take care and stay safe.